needed people to be there for the blood, sweat, and tears rather than cash. And that can only be rewarded with equity. Usually entrepreneurs, we have a little bit of an ego, and we don't want to be told that we have a stain on our shirt or like something's wrong. Your success, once you raise money, is to chase revenue and profitability rather than that's like get those words, growth hacking to exponential scale. No, shut the up.
Gladiators, welcome back. Today I have a young superstar in the studio, Chirenj Chandran. Correct me if I'm wrong, you were on the Forbes magazine, young under 30-year-olds, yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely proud of you. My son's probably a little bit older than you. When were you born?
94.
90. Which month?
January.
January. Oh, he's January 94.
Oh, wow, cool.
25th.
Oh, wow.
When's yours?
24th.
No, you're kidding me, right? So you're one day older.
Yeah.
So it actually inspires me when I speak to young men. Welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
Welcome to the
Happy
arena.
to be here.
Thank you so much. It inspires me to see young people doing very, very well in life. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us a little about your business, and then we'll dig a little bit deeper to your childhood. How did you get to become who you are today? Current challenges you face and so forth. So tell us about your business empire,
Awesome.
please.
So Mysyara is the business I manage right now. It's a two-way platform, digital platform. What we like to say is that we're building the digital foundations of the automotive industry because the automotive industry is very digitally nascent. We saw pain points all across the entire industry. Car owners' experiences, how garages are operated, and even sometimes the manufacturers, right? Because we're going through a very pivotal shift in the industry today. But yeah, that's what Mysyara is. It's connecting car owners to great service providers, as well as garages to great technology.
So you went out there, you qualified the garages out.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to fit within a certain service level. So the trust builds between the consumer and the garage that you recommend. Is that how it works?
Not really. So we went after the car owner. We understood that that individual is at the center of this entire scenario. And we went out and qualified garages, but we don't necessarily connect the customer directly to the garage. We serve
You,
Yeah.
So you did qualify the garages. So there is a certain standard they have to fit within. Okay. So the trust is there. They know whoever turns up or they go. Do they go or the garages come to you?
So we pick up the cars and we take it to the garages.
Wow.
It's actually the one element of the experience that kind of made this entire concept very viral. It showed people the convenience that's attached to what we do.
Exactly.
Especially because whatever happens to your car once you buy it is always a pain point. It's not a happy emotional moment, right? So we kind of just take the pain away. That's what we kind of perfected. So every service on the platform is contactless. We either pick it up or drop it off, or we do it on the doorstep.
Amazing. I'm going to, personally speaking, last 2 months ago, I got contact. I like Porsches. So I have a Porsche Cayenne and it's my wife's car. And they phoned me up and said, hey, do you want to extend your 2-year warranty is just right. Would you want to extend it? How much is it? 11,000 for the next 2 years. I said, no, it's okay. It's a Porsche. Last week, the aircon goes down.
It's like almost programmed.
I'm
right?
like, are you kidding me? Did they put a software in there? If I say no, the thing goes down. So I got the driver to take the car to Porsche garage because I fear, you're going to educate me and the audience here.
Sure.
I fear if anybody else touches that air conditioning, it's not going to have the warranty or whatever. It's going to have problems selling it. Yeah. So they came back to me and said, it's going to take 3 weeks to get the part, 25,000 dirhams for the air conditioning. And that's like 5-6% value of the car.
I think that's a very good example you've just given me right now. So let's start with the first thing.
Are you with me? So I'm like, go ahead, because I had no other, I didn't know about your company, so I had no other option. Yeah. And I know I'm being butt fucked.
I'd like to say that too. So,
yes.
Let's start with the first.
But I had to bend over and smile. Whilst I was giving them my credit card details.
Well, it is what it is. It's 65% of the population goes through that, right? That's the actual statistic here. Wow. Now let's start with that first part, right? The fear, right? Which is, why did you think that nobody else could touch this car? You've got this value depreciation that's going to happen if you give it elsewhere. It's because we're programmed that way. Where'd you buy the car from?
Porsche Direct.
It's a building with a massive Porsche logo.
Correct.
Now, where do you take it for a service? Another building with a Porsche logo.
Absolutely.
When you speak to a guy with a Porsche logo t-shirt.
They're not particularly good anyway, but I have to because I feel that way, yes.
So the idea is that that's kind of shifted from 2015. So 2015, out of 4 cars, 3 were new and 1 was used. Today, out of 4 cars on the road here, 3 are used and 1 is new. So the consumer's perception has shifted. They've quickly understood that, you know what, I'm not going to pay that amount. I'm just going to try a pre-owned car. And a pre-owned car doesn't come with a warranty or a service package necessarily. So what do you got? You got mom and pop shops. So once you experience that mom and pop shop, it sucks. It sucks because experience is like in the middle of nowhere. You don't get the coffee when you sit down.
And they tell you different things.
They tell you different things.
Yeah.
And then what we quickly realized is, why don't we just aggregate all the mom and pop shops? Because the one thing that doesn't change is the labor. Mm-hmm. The labor is still skilled. They know how to fix a problem. It's just the service advisory. It's the experience, right? So that's kind of where, I would say that, you did get a little bit.
So if I came to you, educate me. Would I have
warranties
gone anyway?
Example,
please,
Aircon, right?
please.
So the dealership has SLAs. They have a certain service level agreement. Aircon goes off, we need to fix everything in the aircon system.
Correct.
Right?
Replace the whole thing.
Yeah,
yes.
They won't even bother with a single part replacement. Even you might just have a tiny leak somewhere in the pipe.
Correct.
One, their labor costs too much to actually identify that. So it's easier for them to just replace the whole system. That's why you're paying 25K. But if you come to us, what we do is we're working with you. We have no incentive to kind of rip you off because we count on your LTV. We want you to not just purchase car service. We've got loads of other services. We need you to buy insurance from us. We need you to register your car with us. We need you to wash your car with us. I don't want you just for this one particular issue, right? So we actually take that extra time and see what's wrong with it. So yes, if it's a major component, we'll tell you, hey, sorry, we gotta change the entire system. But if it isn't, we'll actually tell you, this is the one faulty part. It's going to cost you like $20. It's $20 part price.
Honestly, I really feel
labor.
Yeah.
Here's what it is. And everything is documented, by the way. So if you give your car to us for any service, we perform a complete 360 visual check that comes on your WhatsApp as a PDF report. And that's the level of transparency you deserve as a customer, right? That's how we win your trust. And that's why you don't trust the dealerships.
It's gone. And I know I'm being screwed. So how do I sign up to you? And also, because I have supercars, right? All my cars are nice. And I fear that in the hands of the wrong person, they get scratched. They're not going to get washed. Like you said, washing. I love somebody to come around and wash my cars.
Yeah.
You do that?
So we do that on the doorstep. We've actually got one of the best car washes because, in my opinion, I'm not necessarily environmentally conscious to the extent that I'm going around hugging trees. But when I see wastage,
because I notice you're saving like 11.2 million liters of water or something.
So that's purely because the car wash is waterless. We use like 800 ml of water with a chemical compound, and that compound actually makes your car
shiny and icy.
Stay cleaner for like 6 days longer than a normal car wash. But yeah, that being said, we understand that like convenience still drives everything, right? People won't necessarily change a service today, at least in this region, because you're more environmentally friendly, because there's no legislation for it yet that's strict. But the idea is that you want to come down every day to your cars, you want to pick one out and you want to be like, it's clean. I don't have to bother about, whether it's dirty, my rims are looking crap, or, there's an engine light on my dashboard.
I have an appointment in 2 hours. I've got to go and I'll get a driver or whatever it is. It's an inconvenience, right?
So in the Mysyara experience, you just hop on the app and get what you want. And in around 30 minutes, someone comes to you.
Are they all employed by you? Or again, it's relationships that you have with different people?
That's a very good question. So my experience before this was mainly B2C. And from the B2C approach, I've understood that every touch point needs to be a Mysyara employee. So if you call somebody, it's a Mysyara employee. If you're dealing with somebody on a help center or a live chat, it's a Mysyara employee.
The guys who pick up the cars are your employees.
But everybody else is independently contracted, right? Okay. Because that's not my skill set. My skill set's not to go out and fix and rebuild an engine.
Yours is consumer service. Exactly. Outstanding level of service.
Yeah.
Amazing. And do you mind if I ask how much you charge for washing cars?
Absolutely.
Please.
We are currently doing subscriptions that start from 80 dirhams a month. That beats any security guard washer, cleaner washer, contracting washer.
Per car?
Per car, yeah.
And how many times wash?
4 times a month.
That's amazing.
I know, we're trying to capture the market of it. So
before you leave, I'm going to sign up to everything you got. Seriously,
I can't wait.
I wish we met last week. I wanted to have to pay 25, and for the privilege, I had to pay up front.
Oh wow!
They had to buy the parts, right? It's my commitment.
That's
and my car's sitting in the garage for last week.
Yeah.
Another 2 weeks in the garage.
Yeah, the time I get it. I get the time element of it because the
parts may from Germany.
The parts are just a crazy industry in the world, to be honest. Like, just think about the permutations of this, right? You've got each individual car with 30,000 unique component, and that doesn't skip to each model year, make, and submodel. So you can imagine the amount of
Then now you got all the software and stuff like because I have a number of electric cars.
Yeah.
There's constant software updates. And I bought the new BMW 7 Series with a cinema.
i7. Oh, the one with the...
With a cinema screen, 32-inch cinema screen.
I always wanted to put a PlayStation in the back of that.
Yeah. So we had a nice car for the kids, but it had screens at the back of the front seats.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I thought, I always wanted one of those. So, we get spoiled in Dubai. And I thought, what? I'm going to buy a brand new 7 Series for my kids to go to school in. just for that half an hour process. They don't see how spoiled they are. Anyway, it's quite 600,000 dirhams. And for the last 3 months, 2.5 months, I still haven't had a software update from BMW to have the damn cinema working.
Wow. That's shocking.
Isn't it?
That's shocking. Yeah.
We buy the car and we just keep phoning up the dealership. And I'm sure the dealership could do it quicker. But I just wonder if these dealerships are even bothered anymore. Because the money comes from the service charges, doesn't it? Does it come from the sale of a car?
Here it kind of does.
They still make margin.
They're sole monopolies, right? So sole monopolies, they can charge you whatever.
Anything you like.
Check the MSRP of a Range Rover in the UK and the MSRP of a Range Rover here.
How much more?
Night and day. It's like 250K more. Because you have like the more demand, you've got like limited supply, stuff like that. Yada, yada, yada.
So you do pay more here?
Yeah, for sure. And I think what's changing, however, back to what you said, is that, the manufacturers are changing. Like there's a pivotal shift in the industry. What's happening is you've got how much, I know you're a car guy. I can understand that from what you're saying right now, but there is an EV dawn that's about to, come in. And this is something that I think is very interesting because most of these companies are going to completely flip their infrastructure around. You can't use a regular mechanic to go out and service and repair an EV vehicle. It's a completely new skill set. It needs different machinery. You were dealing with a gasoline product. Now you're dealing with a high voltage battery, right? So back to your question on like, okay, why doesn't this guy have the software update? It's because they're just not trained or skilled yet, right?
True.
And I believe that manufacturers are also getting smarter. They're looking for more direct to consumer channels. And what's stopping them today, right? Look at Tesla. Everything is D2C.
Would you drive a Tesla? Do you have a Tesla?
No, I'm actually still on ICE engines. I'm the guy that's still, you might actually find
oil in your fingers
under my nails right now. But I do understand and appreciate the technology that's come through. What I believe about electric vehicles in general is that they haven't solved the world's problems. The world's problems is we have an energy crisis, right? They haven't kind of solved that just yet because they're still using stuff that
Yeah, like planes, these yachts. We talk about all these yachts down in the seas, billionaires just pumping gasoline.
Yeah, we haven't solved that crisis, but what they've solved is they've solved the automotive industry.
Yes,
like I told you, 30,000 unique parts for a petrol or gasoline engine car or diesel, but for an EV, that's like double digits. We're talking about like 20 to 30 parts.
Wow,
now that's amazing.
It is amazing.
That solved the automotive industry, right?
Why are you not driving an electric car?
Here today. Infrastructure.
Really? When I got a Taycan Turbo S, and I think one of the 20th person in the UAE to get it. It's right at the beginning. And they showed me that on the screen, it tells you where you can get a car charged, right? Yeah. So fantastic. I sort of to Abu Dhabi.
Oh, wow. Cool. Awesome.
So
now for me, it's range anxiety.
No, wait. This is coming. This is the range anxiety.
Okay,
so I went to Abu Dhabi and there was no charges in this hotel. And it was right at the beginning. It's about 2 years ago. And he said 200 kilometers back. And I calculated, I'll make it to Dubai with 10 kilometers or 15 kilometers spare. Halfway through, nothing.
Oh, God.
Right? And he's telling me which garages to go to on the way. Turn up, not working. Turn up, not there. Yeah. I ran out of juice in the middle of Sheikh Zayed Road from Abu Dhabi. 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Now with the electric car, everything locks.
Yeah.
So steering wheel's locked. I can't open the doors. Everything's gone out. My battery on my car's running, on my phone's running flat. I can't recharge it.
Yeah.
No, I wish I had a petrol car. Yeah. Spent 1.2 million on this damn thing. And then, and the guy comes out about an hour later to pick me up, and he's complaining from Porsche that he hasn't been trained.
Yeah.
So they launch these damn cars, and I don't know how to operate these cars.
They have a pressure. There's a gray market.
Yes.
That's avid
it's
here,
opportunity, right?
A lot of people have been doing it. Like if you look at the Russell Core used car market, for people that don't know what it is, it's essentially a free zone. It was used for re-export, but most of these guys have understood that, wait, we can actually get in EVs and people actually want them.
Yes.
Right? And they're doing, in my opinion, a decent job.
I went there when I was looking for the BM because I couldn't get the one I wanted, the color.
There's loads of them there.
Volkswagens, thousands everywhere. I couldn't believe it.
I think the estimate last I heard, I might be wrong on this because obviously there's no organized data here, but there's 45,000 Volkswagen IDs sold from that market. And that's nuts. That's
amazing,
nuts.
Isn't it?
Some dealerships, they work head over heels for that number.
So with the market going that way, what's going to happen to your business?
Oh, I love that question. I was just, for me, I love future-proofing stuff. Like it's been my entire journey since I've been working since I was 17, right? Yes. So future-proofing for us looks into exactly the biggest pain points you have as an EV owner. You turn up to a charger, damn thing's not working.
Yes.
You turn up, maybe you don't have the right connector.
Correct.
Is it a fast charger? Is it not a fast charger?
Or somebody else is using it.
Or is it utilized or not utilized? So the immediate thing for us is we understand that the charging infrastructure here is obviously evolving. It's being promoted, it's being evolving, it's in its early stages. But I'm with the consumer, I'm your best bud, right? So I want to be able to create an IoT system with these chargers via an API that you can essentially see, 1, where are the chargers? 2, what kind of charger is it? 3, is it in functional condition? What kind of charging speeds can it do? Is it DC? Is it fast charging? Is it super fast charging, etc.?
Through your app.
Through the app.
This one app that you have can give you all.
Exactly. And then the last one being what kind of connectors it has as well. Because tomorrow I see this as a real estate game that if you dominate the technology side of these chargers, you
can get them to push the cars, your cars through.
Exactly. They sell more EVs. Other EV brands want to maybe rent that space.
So right now, the Mercedes and the Toyotas and the Teslas, because I only use my home one now because I'm so scared to go anywhere else, they're all different. The connections that they really.
So I think the connector's name is J13722 or 1722. That's like the most common charging. Tesla has its own adapter, just like Apple has lightning ports, right? They went smart with that.
Of course.
And then a couple of them have different types of J13722 chargers as well. There's like different types.
So not that. So it's not open like when you go to every mall, they're not specific to each car.
Yeah,
well, so Tesla has the most, right? They dominate. Am I right? Tesla dominates.
Here? Not at all. I don't think it's that high. To be honest, I don't think any chargers here are in abundance, right? Based on the amount of cars that are projected to come here.
Yes.
I still feel like every charging network has like 5% to 6% utilization. But that's the problem we face here, right? This is something that the supply of chargers need to exceed by far in order to attract the amount of consumers.
Correct.
And how I see it is rather than building loads of chargers all over the place, use simple technology to aid the user, the consumer, to understand.
Take the headache away. Yes, exactly. What about having mobile chargers? Because you have units all over the place, right?
So there's a company in the US called Soudi. It's actually a very smart little piece of technology. They make this giant battery bank. Right? It's like the power banks that you use in your phone, but these huge mega units that like fast charge your EV. But they're insanely expensive, and I don't think there's enough of a market right now to substantially make money and get these chargers. But yeah, eventually, of course, there will be. The funniest thing I saw was there was a Tesla on the side of the road with a tow truck and a diesel generator. And
hang on, this doesn't kind of work. Yeah,
that's the state of the energy crisis, in my opinion, right? Like that's amazing. How we're not really solving any sort of massive environmental issue today with that.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
I had an idea.
Sure.
Because we used to have a hospitality business, and I noticed that restaurants were going to different suppliers. And they were getting screwed, rice from here, chickpeas from here, vegetables, fish from here. And so what I did was, not that similar to, what I did was I went to qualified suppliers, wholesalers, and I negotiated better discounts. And I went to restaurants and set up a website. And I said to them, if you join my website and just pay a small subscription, you can benefit from this
Massive
purchasing
discount.
power.
Yeah.
Yes. But you know what? Because I'm an entrepreneur, I opened it, got loads of people interested, and I just walked away. I just did nothing with it. Nothing with it.
That happens.
So how did you, because I know it's a long process, right? How did you get it started? Because I know the idea is there, the concept is there. How much time and effort and money do you invest in it? When do you get traction? Tell us the story.
So just to, kind of clarify, Mysyara is two different companies, like sub-companies. One is your B2C and one is your B2B. So I'll answer you according to each vertical, because that's very important to understanding the flywheel effect. So you look at the B2C, very clear, win over the consumer, solve their problems, make their life easier, make their experience amazing, right? And be horizontal throughout their car ownership journey. For the B2B, it's incredibly difficult because there's a trust issue that happens, right? Why do I have to work with this person? I have cars in my garage.
I have my own customers.
I have my own customers. Like, why do I need to work with them and give them a discount, right? I could make more money by myself. So the first thing we did is we understood that, look, we're going to try and see where they really are failing. Because usually entrepreneurs, we have a little bit of an ego and we don't want to be told that we have a stain on our shirt or like something's wrong. So we went out there and we said that we can make you more money. Because a garage is like real estate, right? You need to utilize your real estate to make more money. Right?
Correct.
If a single garage bay can do
spare
9
capacity,
cars over 2 cars, you make money. Right?
Exactly.
So we did that. We started diverting them more customers.
Give us a chance. Let's prove to you.
Let's prove it to you, free of charge. Right? We're just going to keep giving you customers. And then they quickly understood that, crap, apart from the rent, my biggest expense is service advisory. And I always screw up there, right? And these guys are my service advisors. So I become like a factory.
All they want to do is just look after the cars. They don't want to talk to the customer, nothing. And you take care of the payments.
Exactly. So they understood that they're saving money there. They're making more money because we're sending them more cars. And then the last thing, which is supply chain. Now, like you very, very rightly said, supply chain is a insane, like it's a crazy coup out there, right? And so before Mysyara, I was helping my family business with their automotive chain of garages. Unfortunately, they went bankrupt.
Okay.
And it's for this very reason.
In Dubai.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can talk to you all about.
We're going to do that also,
because that's the dips that I tell you that sometimes you don't
and you
see.
Witnessed, and
and you also go through, right?
Of course.
So when we look at that chain of garages, we were dealing with various suppliers. Like for a single car, you would deal with like 9 to 10 different suppliers at various payment terms.
Yes.
And that's frustrating. You're not buying based on data. You're buying based on intuition.
Yeah, absolutely.
And based on what kind of cash flow cycle you have.
Correct.
So we quickly understood. We're going to take that away for you guys. What we're going to do is you have one-stop shop, which is Mysyara. We're giving you customers, which means that we owe you money. And now we can even adjust your risk by supplying spare parts to you.
And yours is, you store them in the warehouse? So, again, you're the middle people, you go to the manufacturer.
Interestingly
or distributors.
We have about $100 million worth of virtual inventory across the world. And again, just the insights is enough, right? Like the aircon on your Porsche. Why is it taking 25 days? Do you have any idea where that part is?
Stuttgart, I guess.
Probably, right? But the idea is that if I told you ahead of time that, look, I've got 2 more suppliers, one in Netherlands, one in Australia, I can get you that part in 7 days and I'll charge you like maybe 3% more. Would you consider it?
Absolutely.
Because if for most people here, they have just...
You won't be charging me 3% over 25 grand. You'll be charging me 3% over a few hundred quid.
Like
so,
800 quid or like 1,000 quid.
I want to cry.
Right. So back to what we were talking about.
Yes.
So we started a virtual inventory and then we realized that we're seeing data all over the place, right? Keep in mind, we are a tech company. So we see consumer data, we see supply chain data, what kind of cars are being, fixed and repaired. So we can now order based on data, right? So we started keeping a $2 million inventory locally in Sharjah, the home of warehouses. So we started keeping our just-in-time inventory there. So that our lead times to the garages are like extremely low. And they love it now because now they have someone...
Headache-free. Nobody's standing in the office chasing, shouting, screaming, where's my part? You promised me this then.
So to summarize your question, where did I start off? Being obsessed about pain points. Like, get on the ground, man. Just get on the ground, sit with people. It doesn't matter who you're speaking to. Take off your tie, take off whatever you're wearing. Just
take off your ego.
Take off your ego, right?
Ask questions.
Ask questions. Be a learner.
Dig deep.
Yeah. And then just pain point obsessed.
Amazing. Yeah. So I find with my clients, getting the consumer habits to change is an expensive process. Mm-hmm. So how do you do that? Do you do like very clever marketing? How do you get the consumer to start using your app?
So when someone asks me, how did you set up a company? How did you essentially get traction? How did you get that success? I don't think it's a business model. I don't think it's pricing. I don't think it's your marketing.
It's client service.
Not even that. I think it's timing.
Okay.
The amount of business.
Some people call it luck, but the fact that you took the initiative at the spring of the opportunity.
Absolutely. Right? I think that tomorrow, if there's, let's assume right now there's a regulation that you have to only drive an EV. What happens to all the EV suppliers? They make a lot of money because the timing's right? Mm-hmm. And if you're sitting on a lot of EVs, hey ho, you just got lucky, right? So for us, that was COVID. What we understood was when we set up the company, COVID hit, and I remember sitting with my co-founder being like, "What do we do? This is going to be bad. People aren't going to drive, right? People are going to be locked up at home. What do we do?" And then we actually did a digital campaign saying, "Call me for anything. Just call me for anything. Just speak to us, right?" We didn't care if you needed car service. We would even deliver you water if you wanted, right? Because we just wanted to do something.
Yes.
And then when we saw that, we quickly saw that there was a lot of people still driving. Who were they? They were frontline workers. And that's what I meant by timing, because these guys were ambassadors. They were the ones still moving around. They had to get a lot of stuff done. There were no garages open. There was nothing open for their car, but they still had to drive. And we understood that they were going to experience the convenience. And of course, once you see how convenient the process is, it's cheaper than what you were paying for before.
You had to justify why your guys were on the road then.
Yes. And don't even get me started with that. I'll be honest with you. A lot of the months we were like,
is it worth it?
Is it worth it? Because these guys we were scared back then, right? Because most of the people didn't even get COVID. So they were just like, why are you putting us through this?
I used to live at Fairmont. Yeah. One person got COVID. They shut the whole building. The ambulance came, police came right at the beginning. Do you remember? Yeah. It was like the guy that...
And we definitely rewarded everybody there for the risk as well. Most of these guys are now managers, whoever was,
How many staff do you have now?
So we're extremely, extremely lean team. Like for the revenues we do, we're about like 70 people. That includes the independent contractors as well. Okay. So if it's just people in the office, we're looking at like 15 people.
And then what, call center staff? You have call center staff?
It's call center staff. I hate calling them call center staff because they're much more,
They're client facing.
They're like service engineers. Yeah, okay. Like these guys are like car passionate maniacs.
Frontline.
Right?
Do they have to have car knowledge? Do you consult on the phone?
Yeah, they do. They actually. So how I like it is when we hired the first few service advisors, we kind of asked them what their favorite car was, and I know this might not be as professional, but their answer really got me to understand how passionate they are with cars.
So they're all men?
No, there's actually women in there as well. Yeah, that was an interesting bit because you wouldn't expect
women interested in cars, man. That's amazing.
Absolutely. And then you always have the curious types as well that's just quick learners. So they might not know anything about anything, and all our staff is young. Like I think I'm probably the second oldest person in the office, right? And I'm under 30.
Crazy.
So
I'm not going to come to your company ever.
You'll see something funny there. We actually draw on the walls as well because, like, as a stress buster.
Yeah. That's nice.
But yeah, it's a super young office.
So you have a fun environment office, yeah?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I think that it's the most, let's say, carefree in the way where we don't have the kinds of rules and regulations. I don't think a single person has ever worn a suit in that office in the past 3 years. The idea is that we just care about getting shit done.
Wow.
And it sounds cliche, but it truly is.
So right now you grow through referrals and digital marketing. Yeah. Are there any marketing campaigns?
So we did something crazy last year. I don't know if I can go too technical on digital marketing.
Whatever you want to go. Wherever you want to go.
So with digital marketing, we quickly saw that we were not getting return on ad spend, right? This is after close to 2021 beginning.
Just to let you know, my son runs a digital company here. We top 3% Google partners.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, that's
Amazing.
what Arena does. Yeah.
Amazing.
Our bread and butter is our digital business.
So this might be quite interesting as well.
I'd love you to meet him. He's in England now. He comes back tonight. So
I would love to.
I'd love you to meet. You guys will get on very well.
Because
he's self-made, very successful.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So with digital in particular, I don't condone digital advertising. I just wanted to try something different, right? Sure. And what I saw was there's a trend, which is post-COVID, a lot of businesses went digital, but the audience that was looking at ads was pretty much the same, because Facebook didn't grow tenfold in their user base. Instagram didn't. TikTok might have, right? But these digital platforms were still pretty much having the same viewership. And the number of businesses advertising went up to 10x, right? So then what happens to each user's impression cost? It shot through the roof. So I went like, okay, we're doing a service that's not as frequent, right? You service your car in Dubai 1.7 times a year, right? And we need to look for frequency. So we acquired a car wash company that was integrated to us they were a supplier before, so we bought them and added them to the stack. So now we're like, look, we have frequency. But things still didn't move the needle so much. So we killed all budgets. Now this is something that...
And then you had to be creative.
And we put billboards all over in the country. And we just did that.
Wow.
We went with an offline strategy. So I read this article of Silicon Valley startups buying advertising companies, not digital, but like billboard companies. And I really wondered why they did that. So I got in touch with some of the people there, some of the people that did that. And what they said is, if you're selling a high value service, right, which is like car services, you need to trust me. For most people, a car is their biggest asset, right? How do you trust some dude with a website?
It's your next best friend.
It's your next best friend. It even aids your life. Like some people without a car can't make money anymore because they can't go to work. They can't do meetings, right? So they're stuck. So there's a trust building element. And then when you're seeing 9 ads of 9 garages saying, hey, we can do this for you, you start to lose trust in these guys. So we did something. It was a massive investment.
Huge.
And we just...
Big risk.
All the digital marketing budgets were cut and we just watched.
How much did you invest in billboards?
It's over $3 million. So
over how long?
Over a year's time.
Wow.
Over a year's time.
How much was your first investment commitment?
It was our first massive commitment this way.
You didn't sign up to 3 million straight away, did you? You said, let's have a 3-month campaign.
No, straight away. Straight away. It was literally because it was
to get the rate that you wanted. You had to commit for a period.
Yeah. And also to be honest, it's even over 5. Right. The idea is that I still it shakes me because I'm the kind of person that me and my co-founder, we're not from like super wealthy backgrounds, right? But these are numbers that we were like, are you serious?
The telephone was just going through my hand.
Yeah, because it's just, okay, we got to do it because we believed in the strategy. And
so how many deals do you have to, how many clients do you have to sign up to break even for 3 million?
So here's the interesting thing, right? What that ended up doing was creating trust in the industry. Now, what I expected from it was a huge, enormous part of clients. And of course, that came in. Users were flowing through the roof. But what I didn't expect is how the industry responded to it. We started getting partnerships that were worth much more. And these partnerships were with massive conglomerates, automotive manufacturers, other garages, garage chains, right? Because now you've just solidified yourself as a brand and you've got massive equity and people want to partner with you. And I didn't expect that.
So you raised your brand through the marketplace.
Raised our valuation.
Wow.
It raised essentially what kind of partnerships that came across our board. Like if you look at any of our billboards, I still think we have some of them up. You'll see ExxonMobil there.
Wow.
What is a tiny startup in the UAE
it's
dealing
got
with
ExxonMobil?
Yeah. So stuff like that, right?
The trust is huge on that.
Yeah.
Incredible. So who's in charge of your marketing? You are? What does your partner do? How do you divide the workload?
Yeah, good question. So we're essentially 5 main people within the office. I take up the marketing as well as the today's issues, right? I call it today's issues. And then my co-founder is strategy, finance, and then tomorrow's issues, right?
Okay.
And then we've got a chief technology officer, takes care of the entire architecture of technology, a product officer who takes care of the front end consumer-facing products or user-facing products. And then we've got a growth officer who looks at partnerships and essentially scaling what we have today.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And you're all friends from the past, or you become friends, or you're not friends at all?
Okay, so I met my co-founder 3 months before we started Mysyara.
Wow.
And I think that you meet
in a social environment, or
we had a meeting. He wanted to sell me some lubricants. I wanted to sell him some batteries. And then I was like, what is a guy under the age of 30 doing in my office selling me automotive products? Because this is an industry that you don't see a lot of young people. There's a lot of glass ceiling, a lot of legacy stuff. So I was like, and then he told me he has a warehouse with a tech team. And I'm like, what? Nobody has that in the UAE or even the region, right? What are you doing with that?
And you said, I have an idea.
And then we had the ideas. So what I understood is that we were polar opposites, and I love that. Like me and him don't hang out. We don't go out for dinners. We don't do any of that. We see each other in the office and we go to business. We go to work, right? And I understood that I take his critique so seriously because he's my polar opposite. Like whatever I'm bad at, he's good at. Whatever he's bad at, I'm good at. And I started to really trust him that way, right? So someone you can be vulnerable with is someone that'll make you stronger.
I think it's really important as long as they don't step on your toes, right? So if you're the creative guy, the marketer, he shouldn't come and tell you what to do. And you don't want to tell him what to do. You respect each other, your boundaries.
Absolutely.
And together you enhance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also people going through the same thing also helps. He had very similar issues to myself as well. We both went through several entrepreneurship journeys. We weren't like the silver spoon child or anything like that. So we've been through our fair share of stuff, and I liked that. I liked having somebody that I could like fall back on and like even understand each other's problems. And yeah, I still call it to date the quickest relationship I've ever had.
Amazing. and you get on, you respect each other.
Absolutely.
No money issues, no nothing. And then when you hired people, you liquidated your shareholding, the other 3 people.
Yes, absolutely. So we understood that we can't be
diluted, should I say?
Yeah, we can't be equity obsessed. I think this is a statement that a lot of people relate to. A 2% of $1 billion company is more than like
100% of
$100 million. Sorry, 100% of $1 million company. So essentially, what we understood is that we got to keep our team together because we don't take fat salaries. We take lean salaries, like what's even sometimes under market, what's fair. And I think that we needed people to be there for the blood, sweat, and tears rather than the cash.
Correct.
And that can only be rewarded with equity. And it's our jobs as founders to increase that equity's value, right, by whatever we're doing. So that's been the culture there. We have a 24-hour office. People can sleep there. They can do whatever the hell they want there. So we have a very decent employee stock option plan.
Fantastic. You've raised money.
Yeah.
Who was in charge of that? All of you? Who did the presentations? And how did it feel?
So the first time we raised money was the weirdest thing I've ever done in my entire life, right? Because me and my co-founder, Ansar, we were always bootstrapped. So the very first exit I had, the next thing I did, I bootstrapped another startup, failed, and bootstrapped another startup.
So you sold businesses before?
Yeah, but when I was 21. So essentially, for him as well, it was bootstrap. We didn't understand.
Who did you sell to? Well, what business was it?
It was a theater. It was like completely,
because that was film theater. So that's gone. The theater's gone.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you about that one.
It was not tech. It was a creative platform. It was like the most basic thing known to man, right? And it wasn't even sold for that much money. It was sold for like 6 figures, but like not that much. Like what we.
But you found a buyer, right? So that needs a skill.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. No, I think back then as well, it was pain points, right? It was just looking at my jobless friends, going to several casting calls and not getting anything done. And I was like, why don't we just aggregate?
Do I know this theatre?
It's in Canterbury. No, it's super tiny.
Oh, in the UK?
Yeah, in the UK. It's not even here.
Okay.
So it was like a young adult, what's it called? A platform for them to do plays. But yeah, back to what I was saying. So when we raised money, it was the weirdest thing because we always bootstrapped ourselves, right? And I didn't understand the concept of going out and asking people to invest in the company when we didn't have anything yet. I was very uncomfortable.
We got to have cash to show them that it's making money. And
yeah, I was very uncomfortable with that because I knew I didn't have product market fit.
Do you feel it was like begging ball job?
Yeah. Also, it's okay to ask for help if you've got something. I don't think you should be asking for help if you don't have anything, right? That's conning somebody.
That's how you felt, right? Look
That's
at
how I felt.
look at Uber.
That's
right?
how I felt. Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
So what we did is, unless and until we didn't have a product out there and we didn't have traction, we didn't go out and fundraise. So we actually put in our own savings, and we put in quite a bit of money, right? And we tested with that, we experimented with that, and then when we had a fair idea and we had traction, we went out and raised money. And I think that's something.
Who'd you go to? Where'd you go? Like, if somebody's listening to this now, like, sure. Do I phone my bank manager? Who do I go
Friends
to?
and family.
Is that how you started?
Friends and family.
I see.
And I wouldn't even. I'm not so close to my family. We don't have a big family or anything. But I mean, you ask your friends and family who are angels. You ask your friends and family who's in the industry.
Okay.
But
you still had to do them a presentation, right?
Oh,
you had to give them shares, equity in the company, right?
Yeah.
So it still had to be a profit. Nobody's going to say, "Oh, I love you. Here's some $500,000."
Of course not. Of course not. Like, I think even the angels that were first-time angels had very good questions, very good technical knowledge. But what's wrong today is that a lot of people they don't prove their traction, and I think that's something that's very very it's wrong, right? I don't understand why you raise more money than your revenue today. I don't understand why you, after years of even being public, cannot turn a profit.
Because they don't have knowledge of running a business.
Yeah.
They just riding on the back of a wave of a lot of money around, get it in. Yeah. I there's never been a business that I've had hasn't turned into profit after 3 months.
Yeah, see, that makes a lot of sense, because you're going in there.
You have a success formula.
Yeah, your formula of success, right? And now you can copy paste this to like any situation, right? Correct. And I think that when you don't develop that skill, you make a lot of mistakes, and these mistakes cost millions and millions of dollars. Now, I see that as a very, very screwed up scenario, and I think that venture capital has their own issues to fix on that. But at least for another founder out there, I'd say that your success once you raise money is to chase revenue and profitability rather than anything else. Like, forget those words, growth hacking to exponential scale. No, shut the fuck up. Make your first dollar.
Yeah,
Make your first dollar. And
it makes you feel amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
When you look at the numbers, you've actually positive.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. No, it's like
that means you've actually achieved something. You're delivering what you promised, right?
Yeah. You've made something from your brain to like a dollar.
Exactly. You don't keep
awesome.
digging in your back pocket and put more money in.
Yeah.
So you said first round of raising money. Have you raised a number of times?
We have done 2 rounds up to now. So we've done like a seed.
Has the valuation of the company grown?
It's grown 10x since 3 years.
Wow. And the second round was with friends and family again, or no? You went to venture capital.
So the first ever round was like, again, these investors that came in were people that we knew from our friends and family.
Oh, okay.
So essentially, they were people in financial positions in like large corporates, but they used to invest as angels, right?
Okay.
So very nice people. Like, we've got people from Ares Capital Management, that's our board member. We've got another person from GIA.
What's the minimum amount of investment in your company now?
So here's what's amazing, right?
If I was an angel investor,
so it's around $50,000, and our next round is our Series A, and that would be the cap for it. And the only reason for that is not because we won't accept your $2,000 check. It's because it makes these fractional shares very, very difficult to deal with, right? How I look at it is that, even with all the money that we've raised, it's around $1.8 million in cash.
Okay.
And this is across 26 or 27 different investors. So you got to even update each investor. You need to have investor relations. So right now that cap is higher because we want to limit the amount of investors, not because we don't want your money.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll accept
because they're customers. You got to keep in touch with them. You got to make sure that they're in the know.
Yes.
So what's the exit? If I invested $100,000.
Yeah. So we see 2 routes of exit. One is an automotive conglomerate just picking us up, being like, look, they've got a great service network. They've got a big amount of loyal customers. Around 55% of our customers repeat, which is like an e-commerce statistic that's beyond the industry. And also, if we see us going public in the local stock exchange, right? Because I am a fan of what's happening here. There's a lot more companies going public. There's even SMEs going public here. And that could also be a route to exit. But I see the strategic thing happening more than the public listing.
When?
We've actually projected for 2025. So
not that far away.
yeah, let's keep it.
Do you have any other ventures on the go?
No, I believe in true
focus.
Focus.
Obviously, you go to the gym. You got an amazing body. So
yeah,
where'd you get time for that? Well, how often do you go to work? Every day?
Yeah, well, every day. I think that getting in touch with everybody is necessary every day, even if it's via a Zoom call, even if it's via 1 hour.
Okay, so you're not necessarily physically there 9 to 6.
No, not at all. I think that's. I don't know. I think it depends on industries, right? Like if you're a cashier at a supermarket, yeah, you got to be there every day, right? You got to be there in the morning. You got to stay your shift. But it depends on the nature, and I feel like negative space really helps me, see the bigger picture, and I do everything for it. So I wake up, I go to the gym.
What time do you wake up?
So I wake up at it depends, 8 to 9, right?
Okay.
It's never something.
Which gym do you go to?
Chirenj SF.
Okay, I don't like that one.
Which one do you go to?
The one in Al Quoz, yeah, I don't like
Why?
it.
It's interesting because I think I've just been there because I got.
I better not say anything else.
Okay, fair. We're not gonna.
I go to 7.
I used to go to 7. Actually.
Yeah, I like 7.
That's interesting.
I like 7. The sound system's better. I like the carpet on the floor. The padded. I like the quality. That. Every time I go to the gym, I go every day, and after the gym session, I have a massage. They take care of my car parking outside.
Okay, I think I know why you were so familiar when I looked at you, because I was like, I think I've seen you.
We met each other before.
Because we must have seen each other at the gym.
I'm sure I'll pass across. I try to make eye contact with guys. Especially with bodies like yours. I'm like, oh God, I can't just like.
That's hilarious.
When I can compete, I'll say hello.
Yeah. No. I think I changed because actually I don't even know why I changed. It's like one of those things where you just want
different environment,
different background, and you're like, okay.
My son goes to. He has a personal trainer called Chris.
Okay, interesting. No. I think
you probably, but he goes at 6 a.m.
Probably,
so,
I'll miss him out. Yeah. But yeah, I'm a little bit of a night owl sometimes. So I wake up at 8, go to the gym. I probably do my first meetings around 11 or 12, and then I'll do them till like 8 or 9. Because
So how often do you go to the gym?
Every day.
Wow. Do you have a personal trainer or no? You just do it yourself.
I think it's just a mental thing for me. It's been programmed. I like going there fasted, and I like earning my
eating
first
after
meal,
exactly. Isn't it funny how you watch what you eat after you've exercised?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When I'm not exercising, I eat shit.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I think that this comes down to the model where we talk about discipline, right? So do you deserve what is in front of you right now, right? Have you earned it? Have you really earned it?
Exactly.
And I think that
and you value it more.
Yeah, you value it much more. So if I wake up and I haven't trained, I haven't expended that energy, I will not eat. I'll just be like, okay, I'm going to wait for when we have to eat next, when we work out or when we do something.
And you push yourself every day.
Every day. Every day. It's just it's part of the program now. It's been too long for me to not do it.
Did you plan? How often you been exercising? So in Canterbury, in UK, you exercised as well?
So I was 130 kgs when I was young. So like
nice and
super obese.
Oh, muscly or fat?
No, fat. Just
I was gonna
straight
say.
up flab, right? Wow. I call it the Dubai Kid syndrome. We had groceries delivering to us.
Oh, hello,
since
we do.
1990s.
Oh no, yeah. You never have to leave home. Yes.
Never have to leave. So I actually understood that people exercise when I was like 17. I was like, oh, that's why you go to the gym. It's not because you're not an athlete. It's just because you got to stay fit. So ever since then. So it's been like what?
Religiously.
13 years.
Well, don't you do any other exercises? Football, paddle tennis.
Not really. I skateboard a lot. I surf. I like water sports. I like being out in the ocean.
Are your friends, your peer group, entrepreneurs or?
A very interesting question. No, they're not.
So how does that make you feel?
Are
they the lower peer group? Because you want to talk business, right? You want to learn and you want to grow.
So I separated in 2 things. One is I've got an inner circle. Now these people are the people I trust with my life, right? At certain points when I had troubles and issues and stuff like that, I've relied on them and they've relied on me, right? And these are people that are my absolute inner circle. It's a single-digit number, right? But then there are my acquaintances. Now, the people that I hang out a lot, which is non-work related, are people that are not even close to being entrepreneurs, because it makes me learn. It's some of them might be just a cashier somewhere or a server in a restaurant, and it's also somebody that's a freelancer, like he makes games, right? Now this makes me learn because like I'm truly interested in what you're saying, right? I have no use of what you're about to say to me.
You don't find that they look at you and think, well. He's successful. I'm not.
I don't think
No,
so.
there's
I
no
think
way.
I think that what I see is that when I get away from the, and this was obviously different, right? Because when I was starting my life off, I was surrounded by entrepreneurs. I think that's very important.
Mhm.
Like you attract what is around you. But now in this stage, I'd say that in order for me to get negative space and think better and like get more out of my head, I like being around people that have nothing to do with business.
Wow.
And they teach me something that sparks maybe something else, right? And you tend to see that most of these people are very down to earth as well. So they just don't care who the hell you are. Whereas maybe when me and you go to a networking conference or we go there, we care about who that person is and stuff like that. So there's no frills, and I like that. It's like peaceful.
Yeah, I have my family. I just stick to my family, and then
Yeah.
it's work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
everything else is work.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I've got my inner circle, and everything else is work. Yeah.
You were going to say something.
Yeah. No. That's pretty much all I was.
Is the company growing?
Yeah. Well, with that viral monthly car wash, we're kind of struggling to actually get all of the supply out. The demand is crazy for that.
So previous to the monthly car wash, because that's a retainer.
Yeah.
So I just sign up on the. We're going to do it after this
Oh hell yeah!
chat.
Yeah,
We're going to do it.
I'll give you a
we're gonna
free
do it
week off
together.
as well.
Oh, thank you
Just
so much.
Try it out first. Get the
Thank you.
trust first.
If I'm going away summer, can you pause your
Yes, you can.
agreement and then
Yes, you
come
can.
back?
Yeah.
And then, so how does it work when it comes to car service? Things go wrong.
Mhm.
Where'd you get your revenue from? Is the
Okay.
margin, or do you charge a retainer, or do you charge for that pickup? How does it work?
So it'll work like a regular invoice. We're not a marketplace. We're an aggregator.
Okay.
So the money you pay me is my revenue,
Okay.
and then I get a bulk pricing from my suppliers.
Okay.
It's not a marketplace where there's a commission or a take rate and things like that.
So your prices are still very competitive.
Yes, exactly.
Amazing.
Because that's
and that
how
includes
much,
the pickup and the drop off, everything.
So that's the interesting thing, right? That's where the market is, because the monopolistic dealerships charge you so much more that I have ample space to play around with it, right? Like I'm not the cheapest in the market. Like there will be a mom and pop shop somewhere out there that's cheaper than me.
I'm not that target market. I'm your client base, right?
Actually, most of the market is in that happy medium because they have tried mom and pop shops, hated the experience, even though they got the thing fixed. And the other extreme of the market is getting ripped off. So the happy medium is actually where majority of the people are.
So pretty much anything. If I wanted the car wrapped, anything you
anything.
have the right people.
I think the only thing we don't do is fueling because my competitor is a massive fuel conglomerate.
Yes, yeah.
So we don't do fueling.
Who are they backed by?
They're actually backed by
They're doing
own
car wash
family,
now.
Business. So if you know exactly.
Is it Royal Family?
No, it's not Royal Family. They're one of the largest, oldest Emirati private.
So they have deep
companies,
pockets.
Yeah, and also I think that they have a fairly good fuel energy company as well. So it made sense for them to get into fuel delivery. But we don't do fuel, and we do everything else. Anything else?
If my car I had an issue because I used to live in an apartment block.
Sure.
So they have height issues.
Yeah.
How can you collect a car if it's in a multi-story car park?
So we use valets. We don't use tow trucks.
Okay.
The reason I use valets is because we expect our customers not to be experts of the car. So when they actually drive the car from your home to the garage, they find out way more stuff. They diagnose the car better.
So that makes sense. You don't have massive trucks going around.
No. And when you drop it off as well, it's a quality check.
Right.
So
if my car's totally broken down, you can still service me, but then you send a tow truck.
Then we send a tow truck. Yeah.
So you qualify everybody over the phone.
Yes, exactly. We qualify it based on the.
Beautiful.
So that's where the service advisory element comes in. And I've been told by various venture capital firms that that's not scalable. But I'd rather have somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about rather than having a call center.
It's bullshit. Of course it's scalable. Look at Zappos. You know Zappos, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Sold for $1 billion and it's all based on the call center customer service base.
Exactly. And I still think that the market is big enough for you to get amazing utility on each and every call center advisor. So yeah, that's the trade-off, I guess.
Good.
Yeah.
So if I invest, what should my expectations be?
Gonna get yourself 10 more Taycans.
So if I put 100K in, I'm serious. I'm serious.
Let's look at the people that have actually invested, right? So my partner today, I actually met her as an angel investor, right? And
your personal partner?
No, my as my girlfriend.
Well, your girlfriend, that's yeah.
So before we dated, she actually wanted to start angel investing in startups, right? So she put in her first $10,000 that she's ever put into a private company in me. And that gave me a whole new pressure on the relationship as well to deliver on various fronts.
Yes. I've never met a guy who actually charged for a date. But you'd have well done.
Someone said really funnily in a meeting, you're the Tinder swindler.
Exactly, yeah.
But anyway, that's a funny joke for that. So she came in at a $2.8 million valuation, right? Okay. And the company is $30 million plus.
So tenfold.
And she invested in 2020.
Oh, amazing.
In 3 years.
Amazing.
So I don't see us having the same kind of like 10, 20x, right? But what we can give you is a liquidity event as well as a strategic premium, which is what most people should be looking for.
Mm-hmm. Like either way, they can cash in at a multiple or wait a little bit longer.
Exactly. Yeah, okay. Exactly. So how we see it is that, as a startup investor, like you can't guarantee if every single startup investment is going to be the next unicorn. But what you look at is
you got traction. You got a record.
Yeah, you got a record, and you're solving a legitimate pain point that people can see. It's not an in the clouds thing, right? And also, is it a big problem? Is it a big market? Yeah, it's a $62 billion market. That's nearly.
Where are you going outside? Do you go to Abu Dhabi or just Dubai at the moment?
We are all across the UAE. Okay. We're in India as well.
Wow.
Right? And our next growth phase is into Saudi Arabia. But today, if you had to ask me, would I jump into Saudi Arabia immediately because everything is there? Probably not, because the market for me here is massive, right? You're talking about 5 people in my industry globally.
There's a lot of space, isn't there? And
the roads are massive. The distances traveled between cities.
Yeah. Why don't you just focus on India? 1.5 billion people.
So we had a massive competitor there. They just recently shut down for something completely unrelated. It was financial misconduct.
Management.
I'm actually waiting for that space to see what happens with the guy that buys it and then capture that space.
You can't buy it?
We tried to. We couldn't. But what's amazing is I'm really good friends with their co-founders. And those guys are amazing people, right? They've helped me so much with how to hack up the industry and do these little things. They're super close to me. So in my eyes, I don't see buying something with other people, the people that were driving it, right? Like I truly feel like today, if you took away the Mysyara co-founders and just bought Mysyara,
nothing.
You're buying it, you're buying a dud, right? The same thing there. So having those guys was what I would
just wait and see. For
Exactly.
India, and then we'll see how Saudi Arabia goes.
Right?
Absolutely. You got into Forbes.
Yeah.
Was that they called you? You called them? Do you have a PR company? How did that happen?
So we do zero PR. We're actually very, very bad at it, right? It's also something that we don't really necessarily focus on as co-founders. But when we got the call from Forbes, we thought it was going to be how sometimes publications get to you and be like, yeah, we can do this for like $100,000,
how much?
Right?
Yes.
But we actually spoke to this one person there, and he was quite interested in what we were doing, because this was around the time that we killed digital marketing and we went billboards everywhere. And of course that, people ask questions when you see that many billboards, 268 billboards across the country, right? Like that's an enormous figure. And he asked us he asked very smart questions. And I think what he was trying to understand was, are we part of this large holding company that just spits out cash? And are we 2 people that are, billionaires that are like, again, spitting out cash, just testing an idea? And when he found out that we were just 2 young kids that, are trying our best at, fixing legitimate pain points, we didn't even know it was for the list. We just thought
you could have gone bust, couldn't you? You could have.
We were so
you
close.
Could have gone bust.
Like, yeah. If that bet turned out wrong, we would not only go bust, we'd be
in jail.
Yeah, we'd be in jail. That's the level of risk that we took.
Wow.
So yeah, essentially.
So he spoke to you, interviewed you, and then
loved it, and he's like, "Yeah, come in for the photo shoot." And then until the magazine came out, I didn't even know we were qualified, because that was a level of suspense. And for me, this was never a bucket list or anything to be on the list.
It came to you.
I found out more about the list after we got the list. And I was like,
you got to ride on that wave, right? You got to.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think you got to ride out that wave. I agree.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure. So you have in front of you a potential investor and a definite customer.
I can't wait for that.
Man, let's do this again in about 6 months.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I want to know about the process. Hope you enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
We're going to cross paths in the gym.
Yeah.
Definitely not in train SF, but you got to join 7. You have to. Yeah, let me know. We'll exchange details, bro.
Sure. I'm actually going to give you a referral code as well. I want you to be my customer.
No, if you don't mind, we actually go to the phone right now and we do it. I don't jerk around. Let's just do it. Okay.
Let's do it.
Thanks, Chirenj.
Awesome.
Absolute pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
I salute you, gladiator.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, I hope you've been inspired. I'll see you next time. Thank you.